Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. I do hope that you're well. A warm welcome to my channel if you've just found me, and also a warm welcome if you've been with me a while. So I am recording this on equinox, autumn equinox in my part of the world. Fall equinox is another word for it in other parts of the world. Or you might be celebrating and honouring spring equinox. This video, though, is not just about equinox, but it's a really good opportunity to talk about balance and whether we have balance in our own life. So I'd like to bring through some messages from Spirit, from the Archangels. We're going to pull some runes, because you enjoyed that last time I did it. We're also going to weave in some cards and some colours and some Ascended Master energies. But essentially what we're doing is we're talking about balance. If we think about equinox, let me just refer to my notes so I get this right. Equinox is the time or date twice a year at which the sun crosses the celestial equator and when day and night are of equal length. It's also roughly the only time when both the northern and southern hemisphere experience roughly equal amounts of day and night time. So it's all about balance. It's about the light and the dark, which we can expand to not just think about in terms of daylight versus darkness, but also the light that we carry within ourselves, the shadow that we also carry, and also what's going on in our world right now. There's definitely a rebalancing moment, which I'll come back to in another video very soon. It seems as though we're in times right now of very, very accelerated awakening and disclosure, and all that has been in the darkness brought to light. But we're going to park that for one moment, the collective stuff that's going on, and as I say, I will return to it. I'd like in this video to really be focusing on you and your life. And before we even go any further on, I'd just like you to spend a moment thinking about, do I feel as though I am in balance? You can ask the question with regards to do I feel as though I am in balance? Which of course links into maybe mental health, spiritual health, physical health. You can also ask the question with regards to, does my life feel in balance? That might be linked into giving and receiving, work versus play, rest versus active time, etc. So let's talk about it. And I think to open up this video, I'm going to start with a very short, beautiful poem. And then I'm going to give you an analogy that Metatron gave us for what he's calling the baton changeover, which happens at equinox. But let's first start with the poem. Again, it's another one from the Wee Moon 2024 diary for women, and it's called Yielding, and it's by Sophia Faria. I think she wrote this in 2022. Yielding. In the half light, half dark, the line is subtle, seamless where I reside. How do I hold both? The joy and the awe of what it is to be alive in this breathing, beautiful body, of these cells, of this earth, and all the grief and chaos, the nonsense of power. And I stay right there in the middle. We stay right there in the middle, in the meeting of dark and light. What if we stopped in the subtlety, slowed down a little more, so that we can open up another kind of listening, so that the next brave and useful step can emerge, reveal itself, so that we make space for the revolution of our lives occurring in each breath, yielding to a balance within. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Thank you for that poem, Sophia. And also, yes, the very valid point about breath being the place where balance starts in the body. We all breathe day in, day out without even consciously thinking about it most of the time. The breath in and the breath out. And often it's only when that breathing rhythm goes out of sync that we actually take notice of it. Maybe we feel short of breath, or we catch our breath, or if you're suffering from anxiety, you can start to shallow breathe, which can then lead to a whole range of other symptoms. I will be doing some more work on anxiety soon, by the way. But yes, the breath, the in and the out. An equinox is this time, is it not, of an exchange of light and dark, the hemispheres just switching it round, as it were. So this is the analogy that I've been given by Archangel Metatron today. So we have our beautiful world, we have equinox, we have what Metatron is calling a baton exchange, very much like a relay race. And in the relay race, of course, there is a point where you have to pass the baton to the next runner. And this is what effectively is happening at equinox. We, in my part of the world, are passing over the baton of extra daylight hours, hopefully some sunshine, some warmth, some lighter days to other parts of the world. So passing the baton, for example, to you in Australia or New Zealand or wherever else you are dotted around the world. And you in turn, of course, are passing your baton to us, the darker months, the winter months, the colder months, maybe the wetter months, etc. We know that this happens, but have we ever stopped, Metatron is asking us today, to consider, put it this way, where I am, we're coming out of summer, we're moving into autumn. What are the lessons that the collective in this part of the world have learnt from the collective experience of these last spring and summer months? What was it that came up? How did we handle situations within our own life? How did we harness and make most of the extra daylight hours? What did we do with these summer months? How did we experience them? How did we ground them in, maybe, to our own body, to our own life, etc.? We're passing on what we learnt this past season to you in the other hemisphere. And likewise, you that have gone through the winter months, what did you learn from that outward expression? If we think of, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but the nautilus shell, the inward journey, which is what winter is about. It's what autumn is about. Think of animals, think about nature. It's about going within. It's a more hermit-like place to be. What did you learn from the last season? How did you cope with the darker days, the lessons that came up for you in, for example, a more hibernation type mode than an outward expression, which is very much more the lighter days, a feeling of being able to maybe do more, wanting to do more. Where I live in the middle of winter, and it's a lot worse, of course, further north in places in Scotland, but it gets to 5 o'clock, it's pitch black. It's very difficult to motivate yourself to go out again and do something, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's going to see a concert, whatever it is. It's as though we're battling with this energy which is real, which is wanting us to cocoon and go inward and reflect and create in a different way from this more void-like energy. So you are passing that baton to us. And what's really being shown to me is that we never think about this exchange of energies that goes on all the time in the world. We just think, oh, right, Australia's now coming into summer, lucky for them. Oh, right, UK's going into winter, maybe, poor them. But it's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. It is this constant breath of the universe in terms of what I have experienced. I am energetically passing to you because we are all connected. And what you have experienced, you are energetically passing to me. And I am potentially able to integrate that or maybe refuse it if it's something that isn't necessarily good for me. So I just think that's a really interesting analogy about balance as well. And if you think about it also in terms of the macro umbrella that sits over all of this, which is the things that are happening in our world that affect all of us, even if we're not maybe in the country where it's happening. This could be something such as war. It could be something such as pandemic. It could be something such as collapse of political powers. It could be something linked into the changes with regards to the environment and climate. It could be all the different, it could be what's very topical at the moment, the fall of Hollywood. And yes, I've been talking about that for quite a long time on this channel, and I will be doing another video on that very soon. Does it matter? Yeah, you bet it does, because we don't appreciate, even if we don't like some of the people that are about to be exposed, how other people might have them as role models, and the shattering of that matrix and reality for them, which in turn affects us because we are all connected. So all of these macro collective things that are happening, how are you dealing with them in the winter months versus the summer months? Okay, so that's really a very profound, I think, analogy that Metatron is asking us just to sit with at this moment. And I think with that, I will just pull the first cards of this reading. And I'm going to go with the Priestess of Light Oracle by Sandra and Taylor. Because I'm really wanting us to open up this discussion with regards to balance, and for you to be thinking about balance in the multitude of ways that it plays out. So let's just see what we get. Let's start off with 2 cards from this deck. Let's see what Spirit wants to bring through. Let's honour and welcome the energies that are here. For people that are new to my channel, you might not know who I even work with. So we're calling in the energy of Archangel Metatron, who's one of my main guides, Jesus, who is another one of my main guides. And today we're also joined by the energy of Mary Magdalene, Gaia, who is always present, of course, Archangel Jophiel, and Archangel Uriel. And we've also got a unicorn on board as well, but I'll tell you about that in a moment. Right, okay, this one's just flipped out. What have we got? We've got the River of Blessings, and we've got the energy of miracles on the bottom of the deck as well. So, and I'll take that one as well, which is the 3rd card, which was on the bottom, also on the bottom of the deck, which says the Circle of Eternal Joy. Let's start with this one, actually, the 3rd card. The Circle of Eternal Joy is to do with timelessness and the dance of life. So wherever you are right now in your life, in terms of whether you're young, whether you're mid-aged, whether you're older, whether you're well, whether you're unwell, whether you are single, whether you are partnered up or married, whether you are in work, whether you are out of work, you know, the many different dualistic expressions of life. We have to appreciate the circle of life, but also the dance of life. And you don't feel like dancing when you're going through the rain, as it were, the difficult times. But we do know that life is made up of the rainbow. You can't have the rainbow without the sun and the rain. So whatever is occurring, however you're judging it, good, bad, or whatever, it's all part of this circular, wondrous moment which is about being here right now on this planet and present. We've got the energy of river of blessings and miracles. Now, we've got Jaguar spirit coming through. The other energy I'm feeling quite strongly is Merlin. And one thing that Merlin was conveying to me recently was that it is in these pivotal moments, and Equinox would be one. Any portal is one, really. Also, energetically, for example, we've had one this morning. I woke up to torrential rain. I mean, really torrential rain. I think there's a 200-mile storm over the UK at the moment, just lashing down rain. But it's past. I'm on the coast, so it tends to come and then it goes. And when it's gone, there is just, we all know it, we've all experienced it, there is that stillness, isn't there? There's that stillness. It's that moment. It's that moment where there is extraordinary potential for this, for the miracle, okay? It's the 0 point. It's the null point. And we get it at times such as equinox as well. Also, he's talking about the changeover of a year, which is why people write their New Year's resolutions. That's something that is actually good to do because it's a creation point moment, is what he's saying. Today, and also eclipse is another one he's also saying. I mean, there are many, of course, but we're in eclipse season as well. We've just faded out the lunar eclipse energy, but we've got a solar eclipse coming quite soon at the beginning of October as well. These creation point moments where we need to appreciate the dance of life, whether you're doing a slow tango or a fast waltz or a jive, or whether you're just watching, you know, it's all part of the experience of what you're meant to go through. And it's all valid. Nobody can just jive their way through life, is what I'm feeling. Somebody is saying, I'm not sure who that is. I feel as though it might be a Heart Squad member. In any life, there are many different types of dance and timbre of music, something like that is someone saying. Anyway, you get the point. So this is also a moment where we need to be giving thanks to the season that's gone, the river of blessings. We pass the baton, we release it, but we give thanks to what we've learnt in the last season before the new one comes in. And I'm certainly guilty of this sometimes, which is like, oh, you know, summer's gone, we've got winter coming, and winter lasts for months, you know. And can you just feel the energy of that, you know? Whereas actually, winter is coming in to greet you with something that could be very good, something that could also be very beneficial. Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to hibernate a bit. Maybe you need to retreat a little bit, okay? And in the same way, if summer's coming in, I definitely know people who don't like the heat. My daughter's one of my daughters, she can't stand summer. She's like, oh, God, I can't wait for it to be autumn again. I don't like the heat, I don't like this, I don't like that. But again, you're missing out something in all of that. Okay, so those are the first cards that want to come through. Let me just talk a little bit more about this balance thing, though, before we do any more cards. So I want you to think about the different ways that it manifests. There are obvious ones, aren't there? And I've written some of them down that we hear referenced all the time. The balance between giving and receiving. You know, how good are you at that? I don't know. I remember somebody, because I'm a giver, I'm naturally a giver in life. I find it harder to receive. But I remember somebody once saying to me that you need to learn how to receive because, put it this way, a lot of people like to give because it gives them a sense of joy. It gives them a sense of happiness. It makes them feel good, maybe about themselves. It makes you feel as though you're contributing something to the world. You're helping somebody. But if you're only ever doing that and you're not allowing anybody else to give back to you, you're taking away all of those good feelings that you feel when you do it. You're denying somebody else the opportunity to do that. So the balance of giving and receiving, really important. I've also written down the balance of saying yes regards the balance of saying no. So that's a big one, isn't it? Are you somebody that is always saying yes? There's that expression, isn't there? Say yes to life. Well, yes, of course, we want to say yes to life, but that doesn't mean we have to say yes to everything that gets presented to us in this life. It's taken me a long time to learn the power of no and to mean it. It ties into boundaries, of course. And as I've probably said on previous videos, often I think I said it in my last video, but I'm going to reiterate it. Often we might say no to something that we would like to do, but for whatever reason, it's not the right moment. It's not right for you. It's not the right fit. So learning when to say no, but also when to say yes, which I guess comes down to discernment, doesn't it? Discernment. And it also comes down to knowing thyself, knowing what is actually good for me, knowing what would be good to say yes to, but also what really wouldn't, okay? And that also requires us sometimes having to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and not listen to a shadow voice that might wanting to be closing down opportunities because maybe you're feeling depressed or you can't face it. I get that. I suffer from depression myself as well. But there are times when you have to just allow that voice to recede and for the higher self voice to come in and say, I know it might be scary and I know I might find this difficult, but I am going to say yes to this because I am going to trust that this will be the right experience for me, or I'm going to feel better having done it. Okay. So saying yes, saying no. I've also written down the energy of please and thank you. The balance of that seems to be a bit of a lost art, doesn't it, these days? But it's really, really important, I believe, because the energy of please is a request, is it not? You're asking something. And the energy of thank you is you are expressing gratitude for that request. I think because of the fast pace of life right now, there's a lot of requests and please, please, please energy, but maybe not enough gratitude and thank you energy. And gratitude is, as I'm sure many of you know, one of the fastest ways to raise your vibration. When we step around and just take a step back rather and think about all the things that we have to be grateful for, rather than just adding an increasing wish list to the universe to please provide me with this, to please do this, to please make this successful, to please do this. It's like I'm just being shown this big wish list that a lot of people do also when they might pray. That's not to say we can't ask for things, because it's an abundant universe and it will give, but it needs to be balanced with this energy of thank you and gratitude when maybe some of those things have been struck off the wish list, or they've arrived in a way that you didn't expect, but actually, as it's played out over time, has been for your greater benefit. And that's very true of prayer. We can pray for something and it might arrive, but it doesn't arrive in the shape and the form that we thought it was going to. We should still say thank you for that, because there's a reason why it's arrived in that shape or form. In the same way, sometimes when our prayers are not answered, it's another balancing act which Spirit do and we should do, which is the balance between stepping in and stepping back, okay? Stepping in and stepping back. We see this also with regards to families. You know, maybe you're a parent. When do you step in and say something, which can sometimes be regarded as interference, and when do you step back and let your children make maybe an important mistake that they need to learn something from? Obviously not the really big things like, you know, if they're going to put their hand into a fire, you tell them not to do that. But as we go on as parents, most people will try to find the balance between when it's okay to step in and when you need to just step back and let them fall, maybe even make a mistake, because it's all part of their learning. So that's another example of balance. I've also written down here, this takes it a little bit more into maybe the collective arena, but what's public versus private interest. Okay, public versus private interest. Now, you could interpret that with regards to maybe things that are in the news or things that you're watching, but also think what you're giving of yourself. If you're watching this, you're on social media. People think of social media just being about maybe Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. YouTube is also social media. Rumble is also social media, wherever you're watching this. Giving of yourself in public, like I'm doing now. I'm here, you're watching me. This is a public arena. But how much of yourself are you willing to divulge or give away? And the truth is that there are some things that should be sacred. There are some things that should be private. And getting that balance right can be difficult. We can make mistakes as well with regards to maybe certain things we've said or shared, and then we think, I wish I hadn't actually said that or shared that. So again, I just want you to think about this, because it doesn't mean that you've got to have a YouTube channel. If you're on social media and you're posting about your life, do you really want that out there publicly? And do you know who's even watching or looking at that picture, for example, of your child? On my business social media, I've got a private page on Facebook. I'm hardly ever on it, to be honest, but I've got business-wise, I've got pages on social media. I very rarely, and I'm talking literally maybe once or twice over the years, have I ever posted a picture of my children. I think I did it once when one of them turned 18, and I think I've deleted it since, actually, because for me, I don't want them to be public property, So it's that type of thing. You have to find out what you're comfortable with. I'm not here dictating what you should do or shouldn't do. Your balance might be different to my balance. But I just want you to think about that with regards to Equinox, which is bringing up this whole subject of balance. Another thing that I am quite interested in at the moment is, this takes us into a whole other arena, but let me just talk about it. And maybe this is a video in its own right as well. But let's open the gate to this one. Some of you might know about this. So I came across a video on the back of my interest in homemaking. Now, it's not an interest in homemaking. I'm a Cancerian. I've always been a homemaker, okay? My home is the most important thing to me. My family is the most important thing to me. I am a home bird. I'm quite content to be at home. I need to say yes a little bit more to getting out of the home, because I'm so comfortable at home. I could quite easily just stay at home, but I realise life is out there as much as it is here, getting the balance right. But anyway, on the back of me talking a little bit more about this, I came across a video. Someone was talking about a book by Margareta Magnusson, who wrote a book on something called Swedish death cleaning, which is not nearly as morbid as it sounds. Effectively, my understanding of it is that the first half of our life is, and I have to also acknowledge that I've had that first half of my life, being 57. Okay, I'm not going to make it to 114, I hope. So, I'm over halfway through my life. So the first half of our life is this outward expression. It can also be to do with acquiring things. We acquire things, particularly material things, maybe. And this Swedish death cleaning thing is linked into when you die, when you pass over, what you don't necessarily want is for your children or your offspring or whoever it is that has to do it to have to wade through a house of clutter, okay, with something you've bought from Torremolinos in 1983 that doesn't actually mean anything to you, but somehow you've hung on to it. It's in a box underneath your bed. What the hell are you hanging on to these things for? Someone else is going to have to go through all this stuff. It's just stuff that doesn't really have any meaning. Maybe it once had a meaning to you, but now it doesn't. So why are you hanging on to it? So you declutter. The second half of the life is about this letting go process. And that really resonated with me. I'm not a hoarder, but I am somebody that, I like my things around me. But I'm definitely having a clear out in terms of it's only staying if it has a use. I really like it. Or yes, it means something to me. It doesn't mean that you don't have anything towards the end of your life. My mother-in-law did it naturally, a couple of years before she died. She just had a real downsizing of possessions and items and clearing out. And there wasn't that much to go through after she died. It includes paperwork and things like that. So yeah, really encouraging that. It's a good example of balance. But as I say, with regards to equinox, you might be in the first half of your life, which is more about, let's have a look at this. And well, it's not about having a look at things. It's just in terms of read the book, basically. Read the book if what I've said has intrigued you, or have a look at a video on Swedish death cleaning. Okay. But it resonated to me. I thought, it doesn't mean that I think I'm about to die tomorrow, because I don't think I am. Hopefully I've got a few decades left yet. But, I don't need to keep more and more things. It's about letting go now, unless it really resonates and I need it. Okay, so let's pull a few more cards and do some runes. I also want to say happy birthday to all the Librans out there. We're moving into Libran energy. I'm married to a Libran, so... yeah, I mean, it's all about balance with them, trying to work things out, trying to make a decision. Drives me bonkers. But, bless them. Yeah, it is. But it's that balance. I've always said about my John, he's one of the most zen people I know. Very, very calm, very laid back. It's just very Libra. Right, let's pull some cards then. Let's pull a card for Libra season, actually. Let's do that from this deck before we go on. So Libra season coming in. Let's have a card from this deck. Libra season. For you that are watching, what are we going to get? Libra season. Even this deck, look at that. Just realised it's got the going inward, coming back out. The two, the duality. Love it. Okay, perfect deck then for today. Libra season. Interestingly, as I was shuffling, I was thinking it's keeping its secrets hidden, which will come out. But that could mean anything, it's, and secrets don't have to be bad things. Secrets can also be gifts that we have within ourselves that, we've never shared yet with anybody else. Maybe because we think we can't do it. Well, maybe you could, maybe you can. We've got the energy of poised. That's a really nice card to start off Libra season with. Poised. Poised for something good as well. I like it. And again, equinox energies, we're poised. We're at the start of either autumn, stroke fall, or summer. What are you going to do with the season ahead? How are you going to embrace it? Let's have one more card. I also want to say that on this card, we've got like an elemental fairy. And look at her. She's just so happy. She's just jumping with joy that she's going into the next season. Nature is, either breathing a sigh of relief that it can let go of the leaves of the tree, let go inward, regenerate. Or it has the moment of coming into summer, which is like, I just want to burst with all these beautiful blooms and fruit. So wherever you are and whichever season you're coming into, follow what nature does naturally, which is that it embraces it. It jumps for joy at the start of a new season. Yeah, truth be told, absolutely. Truth be told, the owl's saying yes, absolutely. And we've also got to be fair. I'm not surprised to see that card because it's the card of balance, very Libran. So this card, Truth Be Told, I wonder if that's a nod to Hollywood, to be honest. Look at that, the Oscars, the Oscar mask, Truth Be Told. Yeah, it's all going to come out. But I do want to do that, oops, excuse me, do want to do that in a separate video. So let's just stay focused and on track in this video. Let's pull some runes as well, some other cards. But before we do that, I want to show you the two colours and the two Ascended Master energies, or helper energies, that are here for the different hemispheres. So with regards to where I am right now, we'll do summer equinox in a minute, but autumn equinox, the Archangel, I just feel always just, I don't know, just really feels, I mean, I know I've talked a lot about Uriel recently, but Archangel Uriel, I mean, just look at the colour of that. Is that not the energy of, like, I don't know, autumnal days, crisp, beautiful leaves that want to fall from the trees, hopefully sunsets that look like that. But Uriel is about loving service and light. So let me just spray this and see what wants to come through. Archangel Uriel. I'm hearing the word steward. The first thing that's quite interesting is as though Uriel is, I mean, Uriel is obviously present whenever you want him to be present, but I feel as though he really stands and is a steward through the winter months. And it's as though he's saying a fond farewell to places such as Australia, and he's like passing the baton. This is really interesting. He's passing the baton to another archangel, which will be Jophiel. So we'll come to that in a moment. So yeah, it's like the Archangel energy also moving and shifting. Uriel definitely, to me, feels very linked into winter months and autumn months, and times when we're just needing that extra light. I'm being shown the lantern. You know, it's like the lantern, seeing the way forward, introspection, seeding new things, thinking new things, coming up with new ideas, trying new things out. But some of this might be in your head as well. I'm seeing things being put down onto paper. Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the things would be, I was thinking about holiday, you know, so I've got a friend who's just moved to Mexico, and I'm thinking, yeah, I think I'd like to go to Mexico. So how could I make that happen? That type of thing. Am I about to jump on a plane and go to Mexico this winter? No. Can I start to think about how I could make it happen, and where we could go and where we could fly into and what we could also do during the winter months? Yeah, I could do that. It's that type of thing, okay? So very Uriel, so I love that. The other one that I've got for sort of fall, moving into winter, Mary Magdalene just feels very appropriate for now, for some reason. Let's just see. Let's just spray the Mary Magdalene energy. You can see the colours, that sort of very dark green, like a raspberry pink, earthy. It's like I'm being taken back into the womb type energy with her. It's very womb-like. She does. It's linked into the womb, cocooning, nesting, going within, strengthening your roots, strengthening your bonds. I'm hearing writing down things that become legacy, whether that be books, words, design, I'm hearing. But they just feel very deep, resonant, just like getting this spiral down, and we're with you, spiral down, and we're with you. And let's see what there is down here. Let's see what you have within you. Let's look at your own resourcefulness, how you're going to deal with this, how you're going to tackle this, what is within you. Yeah, it's really lovely. And then the opposite energy for moving into summer, we've got a totally different energy in town. I want to bring in the yellow ray. This is the ray of Archangel Jophiel, who is about beauty and wisdom, getting out there and experiencing it, getting out there and feeling the light on your bones, getting out there and feeling the sun, getting out there and things such as community, sociability, play, laughter, lighter times, letting your hair down, reprieve, I'm hearing, reprieve, recharging your battery with the sunlight. What else? These are frequencies. It's not about the weather so much. It's frequencies. It's to do with the light. I also want to bring in the rainbow unicorn. Can you just feel how different these feel to the two I just showed you? The rainbow unicorn is about playtime and creativity. If we just look at the two different energies together, you can just feel the difference, can you not? This one's about depth and going within. And this is about, it's the outward breath. It's the outward breath. Oh, yes. Holiday time, playtime, downtime, free time. Is it going to be like that every day where you live? Of course not, no. But there's opportunities for it. So let's spray each one. Let's spray Archangel Jophiel, beauty and wisdom. Yeah, what can I learn? What can I see? Where can I go? Where can I travel to? What can I experience? It's like I'm being shown a meal, I'm savouring it all, I'm eating it all up, different tastes, different flavours, different languages, different people, newness, everything's new. Think of the tree in nature, the new fruits, excitement. It's infectious, bubbly. If you're not feeling it yet, get with other people that have this positivity energy. And the rainbow unicorn here, it's just, well, it's what it says on the bottle, playtime, but straight away it's taking me into childhood, children, being with animals, doing silly things. Well, not silly things, but just playful things, light-hearted things. Enjoy it. Experience it, savour it, taste it, eat the ice cream if you want to. You know? It's just such a beautiful balance. Such a beautiful balance. Okay. Oh, that smells really nice, that rainbow unicorn, actually. Let me have a little bit more of that. The other thing that I'm being shown here, back to the world, is if one half of the world is experiencing summer and all of those things I've just been describing, the playfulness, the holiday vibes, the just letting off steam a bit, like travelling, or just feeling a bit freer. Just, you don't have to travel. It's just like waking up in the morning, you've got a bright sunny day, or you've just got more daylight. You know, it's not dark at 5 o'clock in the evening, that type of thing. It's like, oh, I could do more. You know, that is a spirit. It's a frequency that is infectious. And it also helps the other side of the world that is in darkness, that's in more of a darker period. You know, both feed off each other. If we could only start to see that we all feed off each other, what's happening on one side of the globe is affecting the other side. And that's why the baton exchange is such an interesting thing. Okay, let's do a couple of runes. I bought myself a new rune book, actually. Where is it? This one. I showed you, I had got an old set of runes, which I still prefer actually, but they're a little bit more hard to see on camera. So I bought this. This is the Book of Runes by Blum. And it comes with a book which shows you, you know, what they all mean. So I'll refer to that because I'm not a rune expert. This is another balance between learning and, you know, wisdom, you know, acquired knowledge, but starting school and leaving school. You know, we can't all be the expert in everything, nor should we want to be. So it's about having the enthusiasm to pick something up and explore it. I want to learn a bit more about runes. My daughter's learning a language, you know, just online at the moment. Yeah, all that type of thing. So, but equally there are people that are masters in it, etc. It's all balance. So enjoy all the different phases of it, basically. Enjoy being the student just as much as the teacher. It's that type of thing. So let's see. Let's pull a rune, I think, for the two different halves of our world. Let's pull a rune firstly. No, let's pull a rune firstly for everybody, for the whole world. Okay, so where are we going into Libra season? Let's just see. Going into Libra season. So we've got this one. Looks a bit like an egg timer to me. Let's see what that one means. This is to do with breakthrough. So page 135, let's have a look what it says. Breakthrough. It says, here is the final rune belonging to the cycle of initiation. Drawing Dagaz often signals a major shift or breakthrough in the process of self-change, a complete transformation in attitude, a 180-degree turn. For some, the transition is so radical that they are no longer able to live the ordinary life in the ordinary way. And that's interesting, isn't it? We're talking about the shift with Equinox, because I'm feeling here this also could be linked into 3D versus 5D. I just lost my page. I got so excited. The shift of the ages, all that type of stuff. What else? In Dagaz, it's followed by the blank rune. The magnitude of the transformation might be so great as to portend a death, the successful conclusion to your passage. A major period of achievement and prosperity is often introduced by this rune. The darkness is behind you, daylight has come. Yeah, it is. It's the passing of the baton. It's everything that I've been saying. Right, let's pull one for going into the autumn, winter months. For those of you going into autumn, winter months. Got this one. What is this one? This is... Oh, it's an opening. This is opening. Okay, so going into the winter months is opening. Page 118. This is the rune of opening and renewed clarity, of dispelling the darkness that has been shrouding some part of your life. You are free now both to receive gifts and to know the joy of non-attached giving. Kano is the rune for the morning of activities, for seriousness, clear intent and concentration, all of which are essential at the beginning of any endeavour. It says the more light you have, the better you can see what is trivial and outmoded in your own conditioning. Simply put, you have been operating in the dark. There is now enough light to see that the patient on the operating table is yourself. Wow, okay. Recognise that while on the one hand you are limited and dependent, on the other you exist at the perfect centre, where the harmonious and beneficent forces of the universe merge and radiate. You are that centre. Okay. So this is the illumination that is coming from having been in the dark, is my understanding of it. We're going into the darker months. This feels as though it's a rune for the whole of the season, actually, not just for October, that there can be an opening that comes about through these winter months in terms of our understanding of ourselves, deeper truths, what is holding us back, what needs working on within ourselves, what our limitations are, what our potential is. And I'm being given the analogy of I'm being shown a tin being opened, you know, a tin opener. And it's just like it's just starting to open the tin. And what's inside the tin is, I'm seeing it's a scroll, actually. It's a scroll inside the tin. And on that scroll is the next chapter of your life. But the point is, you only reach for that tinned canned food, which has been sat at the back of the shelf, might even be a little bit out of date, but isn't really, because there's nothing else in the larder. So it's coming from this place of emptiness and like, oh, I might as well just have a look in here because I don't know that I've tried everything else. I've gone down every other avenue, but I keep not getting the answer that I seek. So it's from a place of having to do it, having to look in a place that you haven't wanted to look before. But in that is the breakthrough, is the opening. That's what I'm sensing for the winter months, for people going into autumn equinox and winter. Okay, let's pull a rune for people that are going into summer. Let me just have some water. Okay, so for those people who are going into summer, we have this one, the arrow. This is the warrior. Nice, page 120. Okay, the warrior, the sky god. It's the rune of the spiritual warrior. Embodied in this rune is the energy of discrimination, the sword-like quality that enables you to cut away the old, the dead, the extraneous, and yet with the warrior rune comes certain knowledge that the universe always has the first move. Patience is the virtue of this rune, and it recalls the words of St. Augustine that the reward of patience is patience. Let me think about that one. Let us all think about that one. The reward of patience is patience. That's deep. That's deep for a Sunday morning. The reward of patience is patience. You see, patience is one of my life lessons. I know it is. I need to sit with that one. The reward of patience is patience. There's different levels of patience, different degrees of patience. And I'm being shown the ultimate expression of patience is God, Creator, Source. The endless patience that Creator has with us as these wayward sparks that have been sent out into the universe to have freedom of being human and what that means, which comes with free will. And the Creator and the Godhead looking on at what mankind has done for eons with so much patience. The patience never runs out with us either. There's always more patience for us to be able to turn it around, to become better as a species, to turn away from our greed and our short-sightedness and our insatiable appetite for power and control and domination and the need to be right. And that aspect of God as this patient warrior sits within our higher self. We have the ability there. Now, what I mean by that is I'm being shown our higher self having this well of patience with the more wayward expressions of who we are as people. The times when we know we've let ourselves down, that we could have done better, where our ego might be running rampant, where our shadow is running rampant, where a spiteful tongue is running rampant. The higher self within ourself has the patience, like this parental type energy, who isn't controlling, is just loving, who is gently calling us back to our true self. Because this warrior energy that I'm picking up is a strong yet gentle and wise warrior that holds the sword but doesn't need to use it. The presence is enough to bring balance back around it, her, him, yeah? Yeah, okay, well, that's really quite deep. It's really interesting. Yeah, okay, that's taken me into a different space, that. Really, really nice. Okay, I think I'm going to end just with a few cards from the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, because I had them out. So let's just see any other messages that want to come through on this video for the people watching. The first one that's come through is the energy of wind. So the elements, the air element. We actually had a tornado near us, which is unheard of recently. It wasn't in my town, but it was fairly near. So, yeah, tornado season, hurricane season might be particularly strong this year, I'm feeling. But I'm also hearing the winds of change. Yeah, that song by the Scorpions, the winds of change. So the wind element coming in to clear what needs to be cleared. Okay, we've got sacrifice. That was on the bottom of the deck, and I've just shuffled and shuffled, and it's still here. So we've got sacrifice. Let me read what it says about sacrifice. Oh, I haven't got it to hand. Have I got it to hand? No. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I really want to see. I want to see what they mean by sacrifice here, rather than me just going off on something that could be. I just don't know. There's something about this card's message. To sacrifice. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'd have gone down a different alley, which wasn't the right one. Thank you, Spirit. It says to sacrifice. To sacrifice means to make sacred. The sacrifice is an offering of gratitude made from the heart, a feast of love prepared for spirit. In olden days, sacrifices sometimes involved rituals in which blood was offered to the gods. For example, in the Bible, Yahweh preferred Abel's sacrifice of one of his lambs to Cain's offering of vegetables and fruits. In Middle America, however, the Lord of the Dawn came to teach that Spirit preferred our songs and our prayers to the blood of humans or animals. I don't really want to go there in this video. A lot of you will know. Let's just say Hollywood sacrifice. That whole energy of blood ritual needs to be cleared from our world, and will be. And the winds of change are going to come in and rock the foundations of many. So allow that process. I wasn't expecting to see that in these cards, but anyway. Because yes, God does not require blood sacrifice. And I would say God there linked into all religions where it is still done. In some parts of the world, especially linked into animals as well. No. So okay, let me just pull one more card. It's all gone a bit. That is definitely one message, okay? We've also got the Time Master on the bottom of the deck. It's time for that repugnant energy to leave our world. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are not some hurricanes or tornadoes that particularly are directed towards some of the places on our world which have held the greatest darkness. Okay, that's all I want to say in this video, okay? So please don't add to it in the comments below. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, then you probably are soon going to start hearing about stuff that is troublesome, to say the least. I just don't want to go there in this video, and I'm on YouTube. I don't want to lose my channel, so thank you. Right, let's move off that and pull some other cards from this deck. but acknowledging and thanking that message that came forward, and knowing that Spirit will guide us and help us with all revelations to come. Metatron has always said that he will walk us through and steer us through it all, and he will. So there is nothing to fear. The Time Master is in control. The energy of sacrifice is leaving the planet. It's as simple as that. You know, in all words and all natures. So taking it away from the most ghastly, I'm also thinking here in terms of you and your life. The energy of sacrifice. It's this thing about, you know, in the Middle Ages, having to wear a sackcloth and ashes, you know, and beating yourself up because you're a miserable sinner and you've done this, or all of that. I'm now being taken to parts of the Middle East, you know, where women are completely dishonoured and disempowered, and their true essence is sacrificed. It's all going to be leaving. Is it all leaving this month? No, of course not. But it's here. The Time Master is here, and we will walk the path together of revelations and disclosure. Yeah? Okay. Right. Any other message from this deck, please? The Gatherer. The Ancient Ones. One more card. The Spiral. So the Spiral is sort of what we started with. The path going inward or the path going outward. Or both equally valid. You can't have one without the other. The inward breath, the outward breath. The ancestors, the ancient ones here at this time, as they always are, but ever more present, especially as we come into October with Samhain, Halloween at the end of it. There's always a thinning of the veil. The ancestors are very, very close right now. And we've got the energy of the Gatherer. That's rather beautiful. Let's look at her, the Gatherer. Let me just see what I can tune into. It's obviously a nod to autumn time, of course, gathering in the fruits. But what else is being said by this card to us? I want to see if Uriel can help us with the message of this card, the Gatherer. That life, that this is you as you go through life, gathering experiences, gathering wisdom and knowledge about self. What this woman is essentially clothed in is Mother Earth. She is learning all she can from being here in this incarnation. Everything that happens, everything that is done, everything that is said, everything that she does, everything that she doesn't do, all the relationships that are experienced, the ones that leave, the ones that stay, is all encoded into her. And then it's like she becomes the earth. You know, as we eventually die, of course, we all just return to dust. We return to the earth. The earth has all these memories of everything we've been and everything we ever will be. It feels as though it fits in with this card about the ancient ones. It feels as though, back to the baton race that Metatron was showing us, not only are we exchanging frequencies with each other the whole time, we are also exchanging frequencies with the earth the whole time. Every breath, every footprint, until eventually we dissolve into her. And everything that we've been, and everything that we've said, and everything that we've done, and the energy that we've carried becomes her. So the state of the world today is a result of everything we've been, and everything we've said, and everything we've done through many generations, many lifetimes. I'm being shown sweeping the path now. It's time to sweep away. It's time to make amends. It's time to honour. It's time to plant anew. It's time to co-create. Feels a very powerful month ahead. Let's end with a card from this first deck that I used. Priestess of Light. summoning power, it says. Instinct, intellect, and control. What I rather love about that is you've got 2 white wolves. We haven't got this feels very new earth. Are we there? No. Will we get there eventually? Eventually we will. That feels linked into the eclipse that's coming. The solar eclipse. Let's try to manifest that this solar eclipse energy, well, I'll do a separate video, but it will be about us coming into our power, because the sun is the solar energy, it's our power center, and us standing up for what is right, summoning our instinct, our intellect, and controlling these lower forces we have within us. All of us have them. The shadow on the leash, basically. Tamed, integrated, understood, heard, so that the light can advance. Yeah. Yeah. Duality. Many meanings and misunderstanding. Followed by the river of blessings and miracles again. Yeah. Whatever is transpiring in your life, whatever season you're going into, which is not to do with autumn or summer, it's to do with the seasons of your life, what it is you're experiencing, what you're learning. There is a blessing. There is a blessing there. But there's also the potential for a miracle. There's a potential for a miracle. On that note, I will say goodbye. Lots of love. I'll be back very soon. I just wanted to get a message out today to honour us as a community. Thank you for walking this path with me. Talked about the energy of gratitude. I'm very grateful for you. For receiving me into your homes, on your TVs, on your computer screens, wherever it is you watch me. Thank you. Let's just work on the balance, keeping the balance that as much as we can in our own lives, in our own bodies, because the micro, when we are more balanced, we will see a more balanced world. So there's lots to work on, there always will be, but just do what you can on a day-by-day basis. And I'll leave you with this. What's going to help, ask yourself, what is going to help me get into a place of greater balance today? What will help me with the week ahead to be more balanced? And the answer to that could be anything. But just go within and let your higher self show you. Thanks for listening, guys. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now.